Welcome to online video lecture session of Academic World School. Good morning students. I am Rameshwar Kumar Sahu. Today I am going to start my third lecture session and the name of the chapter is function. In last lecture we have discussed about types of arguments in a function. We have discussed about positional argument, default argument, keyword argument. Today I will discuss about variable length arguments. What is variable length argument? As we can assume by the name that we can pass any number of arguments according to the requirements, such arguments are known as variable length argument. We can use asterisk to give variable length argument. Suppose that if you don't want to use n number of variables to calculate in the function. Suppose that if I want to calculate the weight of n number of students and we want to pass the weight of the students in a function as an argument. We can't pass n number of argument in a function. It's very difficult. So in that case, the variable length arguments are very useful. You can understand this thing with the help of this example. In this example, this is the program to calculate weight of n number of students. The parameter x working as a variable length argument. How it is variable length argument? If the asterisk sign before any variable name declare before any variable name, that variable is known as variable length argument. This is the simple program to calculate the average weight. This is an for loop to get one by one each value present in a variable length argument, and the sum operation is performed, and at the last the average weight is calculated. You can understand this thing by the output. Simply in the first calling of the function we have passed only one argument. You can understand one argument is passed, and you can see in the output only the average weight is 20. But when I pass two arguments, the average weight is 25. When I pass three arguments, the average weight is 30. So in that case, you can pass any number of argument in a function. For that, you can use variable length arguments. I am going to explain this thing with the help of examples. Suppose that if you want to calculate the sum of n values, and you want to calculate the sum of n values by using the function, and you want to pass values separately in a function. For that we can use variable length argument. Now the name of the function is sum. How to declare variable length argument? For that you have to use asterisk sign. Suppose that if I am using the name of the variable is n. Now the body of the function is started. Now I am going to perform the sum. For that you have to use for loop for I in n. One by one each value which is stored in the variable length argument, it will come in I. So for that we have required any variable which will hold the cumulative sum. For that I am using s is equal to s plus I. Now the sum is calculated. Now I am going to return the sum value. Return s. Now I'm going to call the function print In first calling of the function I have passed two arguments, but in the second calling I am going to pass three arguments. Now I am going to execute the function. Now you can see the output. Sum of 2 and 3 is 5. Sum of 2, 3 and 4 is 9. So you can understand by this example the use of variable length argument. It's very easy. Simply if you pass two arguments, it will give the sum of two values. If you pass three arguments, it will give the sum of three values. So it's very easy to pass n number argument by using variable length argument. Now all of you understand. I am going to explain another topic. Passing list to a function as an argument. In place of, suppose that what is the alternate solution of variable length argument is list. Suppose if you want to pass n number of values in a function, for that we can use list as well as tuple also. But all of you are aware about list is a mutable data type and tuple is a immutable data type. So this is an example to calculate the average weight by using list. The average weight is calculated. Simply you have to declare one list. In the example, the program execution start from here. L is a list which hold four number of values 10, 20, 30 and 40. Then after the next statement average weight. Here the average weight function is called and argument is passed as a list. Now this is the definition of a function. In this H is a list which will take the value from L. Now the sum operation perform and then after the average weight is calculated which is an return value. So this is a way to pass a list as a to a function. But there are few advantage of list. Suppose that if you perform changes in a function in a list, so that will also reflect to the main program also. I am going to explain this point with the help of example. All of you just understand what is the advantage of list in a function. Suppose that L is a list. I have passed 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. Three values I have passed in a list. I am going to call the list. I am going to call the function. The name of the function is change. I have passed list as an argument. Changes in a list after calling function. Now I am going to perform few changes in a list. In function. The name of the function is change and I in n. Here the name of the list is n. The name of the list is n. Actually, this is an example by which we can understand if we perform changes in a function, so that will reflect to the main program or not. So I am going to perform changes in a function list, so that will reflect to the main or not. Just understand. I'm going to print a list. List of a function, comma, and now after performing changes in a function, I am going to print a list, and when the function will over, then after I will again the list present in a main program. Now I am going to execute. Now you can, sorry, there are few error in the program. Sorry. Here I have to write in range. Now again I am going to execute. Now you can see the value is passed from, when I called function, the value which is stored in L will copied in the N, and N is also a list. I have performed few changes in N. All the list item I have increased +2 value all the list item. Then when I print a list, then the value in a list are reflected, that is which that are 4, 5 and 6, means 2 + 2 4, 3 + 2 5 and 4 + 2 6. But when I have called again, when the function will over, then after when I print a value present in a list L, that will also change. Why? Just because of list is a mutable data type. When I passed list as an argument in a function, and if we perform changes in a list in a function, that will also reflect to the main list also. That is the advantage of passing list in a function. So if we perform changes in a function, that will reflect to the list which is present in a main program also. That is the advantage of passing list to a function. So all of you understand the use of list, passing list to a function. Now scope of variable, that is also related to a list. There are three scope of variables. Scope of variable means lifetime of a variable, means it means where we can use this variable. We can say that scope is the collection of variable and their values. There are three types of variable with the view of scope. Number 1, local variable. Number 2, global variable. Number 3, non-local variable. Local variable, accessible only inside the functional block where it is declared. Means local variable work only inside the particular block. It cannot access outside the block. Global variable, the variable which is accessed among whole program using global keyword. Suppose that if I want to use any variable in function and main program also, we can declare that variable as a global variable. Then we can use that variable anywhere in the program. Non-local variable, basically such type of variable used in a nested function using non-local keyword. I am going to explain all these points one by one. Variable scope in function. Number 1, global variable. This is an example to understand the concept of global and local variable. First, I will explain this thing with the help of simple example. Then after I will explain this program. So now understand, I am going to clear the complete div. This is an example of global and local variable. Okay. Function without argument parameters. Global A is equal to 70. B is equal to 30. Value of A and B in a function A comma B. Now the function is over. I am going to A is equal to 30 and B is equal to 40. Value of A and B before calling a function. So before calling a function, value of A and B after calling a function, GLO global var, the name of the function. Same after calling a function. Now see the effect of it. So this is a program to understand the concept of global and local variable. Now understand, the program execution start from main program. First, there are two variables declared A and B. The value of A is 30 and value of B is 40. First statement, value of A and B before calling a function 30 and 40, and when then after the function is called, when the function is called, the program control will switch over the function. Now the A is a global variable, A is equal to 70 and B is equal to 30. Value of A and B in a function 70 and 30. Now understand, after the function is over, print the value of A and B after calling a function. Now understand, after calling a function, the value of A is 70 and value of B is 40. Value of A is changed after calling function, but value of B is not changed. Why this thing happened? Because A is an global variable declared in a function. When any variable declared as a global variable, if we perform changes in a function, that will reflect to the whole program. Means the A and B declare in the mean also, and outside the function also, and in the function, but A is a global variable. So when if we perform changes in a variable any part of the program, so that will reflect in all the section of a program. Now the value of A is 70 and the value of B is 30, but B working as a local variable. In the function, A is working as a global variable and B is working as a local variable. That's why it is not reflected to the main program. So that's why the value of A is changed and value of B is not changed, because B is an local variable and A is an global variable. So now it is clear. B is an B is an B is a local variable and A is a global variable. So if we perform changes in any part of the program, either in function in anywhere, if we perform changes in a global variable, that will reflect to all places. That is the benefit of global and local variable. Now I'm going to switch into the function. In this program, we the name of the function is fun. The value of a, b, x, y 1 2 3 4, I have passed, I have called that function 50 and 100. The value of 50 will transfer to x and value of 100 will transfer to y, just because of which type of argument is that? Okay, that is the first value, that means fifth argument. Okay, then now in this fun 50 and 100, now A is a global variable, the value is 10, x and y values are interchanged, and when I change the value, the values are swapped. The value of x is 50, but after swapping the value of A is 100 and value of y is 50. B is equal to 30, B is equal to 20 and B is equal to 30 and C is equal to 30. And now the value, the print statement called ABXY. The value of A is 10, value of B is 30, value of X is 100 and value of Y is 50. Now the function is over. The program control again switching into the main. Then again the A, B, X, Y value will print. And now the A is a global variable, so the value of A will change. Now its value of A is 10, value of B is 2, value of X is 3 and value of Y is 4, just because of local variable. Okay, that's why the value is not changed. Variable scope in function, non-local variable. Non-local variable work inside the nested function. Now you can understand with the help of this example. Here there are two functions, fun1 and fun2. Fun2 declare inside the fun1. So fun2 is a nested function. There are one variable declared in fun1 and one variable declared in fun2. The name of the variables are same, x and x. But the variable which is declared in fun2, which is a non-local variable, means the scope of variable will change. Now the value of x is 200 in fun2. Before calling fun2, the value of x is, so what will be the value? X is 100. in the function 1, but again it calling fun2 now. When the fun2 is called, the value of h will change because non-local statement will execute when we call the fun2. Now the program execution start from main. H is equal to 50. The fun1 function called h is equal to 100. Then the body of the function will execute when it is called. So before calling the fun2, the value of h is 100. Now calling fun2, now the fun2 function called. Now the after calling the fun2, the value of h is 200. Now the function is over. Print h in main 50 again. Why? Because it's an local variable. H is an local variable. It is not declared. Non-local variable work only inside the function, whether when we are using nested function. Suppose that in nested function, if you want to use any variable as an non-local variable, means global variable for a particular function. Okay, so in that case we can use non-local variable that will work only inside the function, not outside the function. But if we declare global variable, so that function will that variable will work throughout the program. Now I'm going to explain this thing with the help of example. Suppose that the same program b is equal to 20, fun1, the name of the function is fun1, then fun2, the function is scope is started. Non-local is also a keyword. b is equal to 40, a and b before calling function a comma b. Now value of b after calling function fun2 fun2. Okay, now the main program will start. Now value of a and b, suppose that 10, a comma b is equal to 70 comma 80. fun1 executed, fun1 print the same statement. Now I'm going to execute. Oh, scope, there is some problem in a scope. Actually, I have not written def, that's why the problem is created. So you have to must careful about this. Now see, A is a global variable and B is a local variable. When the function 1 is called, first of all the value of A and B is 70 and 80. Function 1 is called, the A is working as a global variable, B is working as a local variable. But when the fun1 is before calling a function fun2, the value of A and B is, the value of A is 70 and value of B is 20. Now function 2 is called after value of A and B after calling function fun2. Now so B is an non-local variable. So the value of A and B, now understand, B is 40 and A is equal to 60. Now when A and B, value of A and B is print. Now see the difference. Now value of A is 70 and value of B is 40. Value of B is 40. Why the value of A is not changed? Because it's a local variable, global variable, and global variable cannot be worked in a nested function. That's why the value of A is not changed. Okay, so it work as an A is work as an local variable. Now after the after when the function 2 will over, the lifetime of the variable will over. That's why the value of A work only for as an local variable for fun2. Now the value of B is a non-local variable. So the if we perform changes in fun2, that's why it is reflected into the fun1 also. So the A value of A and B is 70 and 40. But when the function will over and we are going to the main program, so now the value of A is changed because value of A is 70. There is no change performed in a function 1. That's why there is no change in a value of say, A, and value of B is a local variable for fun1. That's why it is not protected to the main program also. So that the value of A and B are not changed into the main. It will reflect only to the function only. Now all of you understand use of global, local and non-local variable. Global variable work only in the function, not in the nested function, and non-local variable work inside the nested function. That is the use of non-local variable. Suppose that if you want to use any variable as a global variable in a nested function, for that we can use that we have to declare that variable as a non-local variable. Suppose that if you want to use any variable throughout the complete program, we can use that you can use that variable as a global. Means suppose that if you want to use any function inside the any variable inside the function, for that we can use that variable as a global variable. Now I'm going to the main part, recursion. Now this is the next topic of the function, recursion. It is a way of programming or coding taking in which the function call itself for one or more time in its body. Usually it is returning the return value of this function called precision. Means the function which is called itself is known as recursion. The function at the time of calling of the returning statement in the function call itself. In that case, the function calling and calling itself again and again until the base condition is not fulfilled. If a function definition fulfills such condition, we can call this function as a recursive function. Such function which call itself is known as recursive function. The two laws of recursion must have a base condition. Means when we are declaring any recursive function, in that case we have to must give any base condition. Means until unless the base condition will not satisfied, the function call itself again and again. There must be at least one base criteria or condition. When such condition is met, the function stop calling itself, must move toward the base case. The recursive function call should move in such a way that each time it comes closer to the base criteria. Means when we are calling a recursive function, when we are in that case, the base condition should be satisfied and it should be matched with the base criteria. When it will match, the function will over. Now understand the recursive function with the help of example. This is a program of factorial by using recursive function. In class 11th, all of you perform the factorial program by using for loop. Now you can develop the factorial program by using recursive function. The factorial function pass one argument which is n as an parameter, means it will accept one value, and if n not equal to 0, this is the base condition. Every time when the recursive function is called, it should be matched with the base criteria. Reach to the base criteria. When the n not equal to 0, then it will again call the function. When n equal to 0, the the recursive function will not call. The function recursion process will stop. Return n into factorial n minus 1, means every time the value of n will decrease until it will not be 0. When it will 0, it will stop calling. You can understand with the help of this example. N is equal to int. I pass one input statement. In this, it will accept one value from the user. During the runtime, the function called n is passed an argument. The value will copy from n to n the same. And suppose that I have passed 5 as an argument. In the runtime, at the time of execution, the factorial 5, you can see with the help of output, the n will come factorial 4 pass as an argument. Again it will call the function 5 into 4 into factorial 3 is an argument, factorial 2 as an argument, factorial 1 as an argument. Then 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1 will multiply with it. Then the output will come. This is an means 120 will come. This is an recursive program. I am going to explain this program with the help of example. Suppose that fact is n and x is an argument. Now condition if x not equal to 0. Sorry, here we have to use colon sign. Return x into FACT fat x minus 1. Okay. Else return 1. Now print 4. Suppose that if I pass 4 as an argument, now I am going to execute a program. Now see the output 24. It will give the factorial of the given number. So this is a way to call recursive function. It's very easy. Suppose if I pass 5, now you can see 120 is an output. So this is a way to call an recursive function. All of you understand? Drawback of recursion. It uses more storage as each value is pushed into the stack. The function call itself again and again. If the recursive call is not checked carefully, then your computer may go out of the memory. Means sometime if the condition will not fulfill, then it will call it again and again. The infinite time it will call. It is less efficient in terms of time and speed. Sometime what happen, we can develop the program of factorial by using for loop also. In that case, the execution of the for loop is much faster than the function, recursive function. Why? When the function call itself, the program control reach to the function header. Again the program control will move from returning statement to function header, so that it will take more time for execution of a program. But in the for loop, it will only the repetition of the statement going on again. So it increase the efficiency of the program, and recursive function will take more time. That's why it decrease the efficiency. Flow of the execution at the time of function call. The execution of any program start from very first line, and this execution goes line by line. One statement is executed at a time. Means if we call a function, so at a time only one statement will execute. Function does not change the flow of any program. A statement of a function does not start executing until it is called. Means suppose that if you declare any function in a program, and if you not called a function, in that case the function statement will not execute, whether it is 10 to 15 line function. Until unless you will not call the function into the main program, it will not execute. When a function is called, then the control is jumped to the body of the function. Then all the statement of the function get executed from top to bottom one by one. Means first the function header will execute, then the program control will reach to the body of the program, and one by one each statement of the body will execute, and again the control will return to the place where it is called. And in this sequence Python program gets executed. this is the end of the session. In this session you have understand about user defined function, types of argument, how to pass list as an argument, scope of a variable, and recursive function. If you have some doubt, you can send your query through the ERP in the form of message, and I will give reply, and I will upload the assignment in the ERP. You have to solve the assignment. If you have some problem, you can send your query. Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.